every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, PDP members lay siege at Ekiti State House of Assembly in protest against Governor Fayoshe's impeachment threat. Also in this program, Rivers All Progressives Congress members storm INEC office in Abuja as they demand the removal of state resident electoral commissioner. Lagos monarch Oba Riowan Akiolu clears air over alleged threat to Igbos in Lagos. Outside Nigeria, the Yemen crisis continues as the battle for the port of Aden turns it into a ghost city. Thanks for staying on with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. Tension and palpable fear has returned to Ekiti State with the face-off between the 19 APC lawmakers and the state governor Ayodele Fayoshe degenerating into an impeachment saga. Rashid has more on the protest by PDP members against such moves.
The situation is tensed and tension is high, no thanks to the impeachment crisis engulfing Ekiti State. The worst hit is the seat of power, Ado Ekiti, as there is total lockdown with streets deserted and shops closed, while residents also stayed indoors, with civil servants also heading home. All commercial activities are paralyzed, while entry points into the city are reportedly barricaded in an apparent move to resist the 19 APC lawmakers from entering Ekiti from their alleged Osun State base. While all this was going on, some organized labor activists hold a peace rally suing for peace in the state.
As long as there is no peace in Ekiti, we workers will be affected, because this is a civil service state, and that is why we want to tell everybody, especially those who are at the back, who are in Lagos, who are in various parts of the country, or even outside Nigeria, thinking that some people or it is the present government that is causing problems. No, we want to say that it is those outside that are throwing stones into Ekiti, and we are not going to take it. Where were those 19 legislators before they held the presidential election? They did not attempt to come back. It's a political problem. This thing is not about Fayemi, it's not about Fayoshe, it is about Ekiti. And we believe that we own Ekiti. This is the time we have to tell them that we want peace in Ekiti State.
While security agencies and residents wait with apprehension of the much touted sitting of the 19 APC lawmakers, Ado Ekiti residents lament the precarious situation the state is.
No one problem, because all the person we won't come do problem here. They don't thief our money go before. They won't come thief another one again. You don't want them again. You don't want to see them here. If you see them, now Allah. They say, no way. We go tell airport. We tell our president. You know what, APC? We can't destroy this Ekiti here now, because there is a lot of problem here. They won't create problem for Ekiti now, because there is no problem for Ekiti.
With the situation on ground in Ekiti, it is no longer at ease. No one can predict what is next, as the fate of Ayo Fayoshe now hangs in the balance. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Still on Ekiti State, the 19 APC lawmakers insist they will not be deterred in carrying out their constitutional duties, even in the face of intimidation and intense opposition. The lawmakers stated this while addressing a press conference in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, after they were largely prevented from accessing the Ekiti State House of Assembly by some security operatives. They claimed that they were blocked at Itaure Junction in Ekiti State by a detachment of the Nigerian Army under the command of one General Momo. The father revealed that they were delayed for more than 2 hours and had to change their destination to Osun State when the soldiers were not yielding. The lawmakers alleged that the soldiers were in connivance with the Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose to prevent them from carrying out their constitutional duties, even after notifying the police of their plan to begin sitting. The 19 lawmakers were on their way to Ado Ekiti to commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Fayose.
Today at Itaure Junction is actually uncalled for, because the way and manner honorable members were treated, to the extent that they did not even allow us to move beyond that Itaure, it's something that we should draw the attention of Nigerians to. One, that are they saying that we can no longer perform our constitutional responsibility? Two, are they saying that we are not legislators from Ekiti State? And that three, are they saying that we are not from Ekiti State?
We've gotten information and hints that Governor Ayodele Fayose had brought thugs out again. They were parading the assembly complex. And as a matter of fact, some of them are coming to that Itaure houses, in which we saw the action of the military as a devilish collaboration in order to hold us down so that the governor's thugs, led by the deputy governor and the chief of staff, can meet us there. But we had to develop our sixth sense, and that was why we, instead of following them, we had to, take a U-turn.
Police authorities say they have identified a number of people who played different roles in pre-election violence in Rivers State. This, they say, is aside from 124 other electoral incidents that are being investigated after the March 28 presidential elections. Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba disclosed this at the opening of a conference with all police commissioners in Abuja on the forthcoming April 11th elections. Basiaye reports.
As Nigerians prepare to go to the polls again on April 11, the police hierarchy has given assurance on adequate security. This, it said, is to prevent further electoral crimes in view of current efforts to fish out and bring to book perpetrators of electoral violence across the country. The Inspector General also listed Rivers State as one of the areas on the focus.
This is as regards the arrest in Rivers, or incidents, violent incidents in Rivers. But let me say that the strategies we are adopting to prevent further incidents are better kept to our chest for now. Let me also say that the purpose of this meeting includes strengthening our deployments to Rivers and other states where we believe we really need to strengthen the deployments to prevent lawlessness.
On the issue of the election day bomb attack in Enugu State, the police chief had this to say.
We did all our best, our very best indeed, to protect INEC officials, to protect INEC materials, to protect INEC offices. Unfortunately, incidents happened. Isolated as they were, we want to treat them as challenges so that they don't occur in the April 11th elections for the governors and state houses of assembly.
He further revealed that 124 election-related incidents are also being investigated, with quite a number already being charged to court. This, the IG says the police will attempt to reduce on April 11 by placing more emphasis on the prevention.
So far, we have 124 incidents that were investigated, and quite a number of them have been charged to court already.
While the police high command re-strategizes ahead of Saturday's governorship and State House of Assembly elections, Nigerians can only hope that the relative peace and security witnessed during the presidential elections will be repeated, if not surpassed. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
A coalition of 17 political parties in Rivers State is demanding the removal of the resident electoral commissioner in the state ahead of the April 11th election in the state. Representatives of the parties were at the national headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja to table their grievances against Geshila Khan. They want the electoral commissioner removed for allegedly colluding with the People's Democratic Party to perpetrate electoral fraud on March 28. INEC officials, however, promised to look into the allegations while urging the protesters against taking the laws into their hands.
And we want an umpire that is impartial. She is partial, she is political, she is partisan, she has done everything to favor the People's Democratic Party. We want a free and fair election. We don't want an INEC commissioner who will be fair to one party and, of course, unfair to the other. That's what we want. That's why we are here. We have sent in our letter. We have previously written to INEC. Of course, the whole world is a living witness to what happened on the 28th of March. That was a caricature of an election. She simply gave sensitive electoral material such as the result sheets to PDP stalwarts in Rivers State, and they stayed in the comforts of their homes and wrote results and announced. And of course, we protested, we sent letters to INEC. INEC, in its wisdom, said that that result should be allowed to stay. Of course, we'll take legal channels to challenge that result.
With the state assembly election scheduled to take place on Saturday, youths from Orion 1 local government areas of Edo State has staged a peaceful demonstration to the INEC's office in Benin to demand that the resident electoral commissioner Mike Igini remained non-partisan. The youth, who displayed placards with various inscriptions, say they had earlier sent petitions to the commission on a number of issues cited. Leader of the protests, Matthias Oshakbolo, briefing the protesting youths outside the Commission's office in Benin after a closed-door meeting with the REC, says the electoral officer in charge of Ohion LGA during last polls, where the LGA is cancelled, has stepped down. Osakbolo assured the protesters that all lapses and various polls will not repeat itself.
To go peacefully about the election, to go and use our ballot papers, our voters' card, to send those who are our choice, to send those that will lead us, that will bring development to Oriomo. Please and please and please, let's go about our lawful duties before, during, and after the election. The result of the 7 wards, he has shown some evidence to us of some lapses in the result, but he has promised us that he will look into it. He said he's going to speak with our leader, and he also totally admitted that the fault is from the INEC. And as we speak now, the INEC official, the INEC official in Oriomo has been sacked.
Response: the Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Mike Igini assured the protesters of a free and fair State House of Assembly elections come Saturday.
Both for State House of Assembly as well as the suspended Oriomo local government and other parts, we are going to have elections. It is clearly on simple majority. It is clearly on simple majority.
To ensure transparency of the polls, Igini says one representative of each party will accompany the commission to the Central Bank of Nigeria in Benin to collect materials for the polls. The Plateau State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has called for the removal of the state resident electoral commissioner Godwin Kwanga. Speaking with journalists at the press center in Jos, the chairman of the party, Latep Dabang, called for the immediate removal of the state's electoral umpire, accusing him of being partisan. According to the APC chairman, among other offences noted against the Plateau Rec is that he is always at the state government house and he has been found several times paying visits to the PDP candidate, Pajok. Although the presidential and
be removed and deployed and replaced, as he has grossly been compromised, and we as a party have lost confidence in him and do not trust him to organize a free and fair election in Plateau State.
Among the dissatisfaction the APC have said to have found against the Plateau Rec was the availability of the State House of Assembly materials already in circulation since last week, when they were supposed to be in the confines of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
It means that those documents are no longer secure. These documents are supposed to be in Central Bank. It is today that we are supposed to take delivery. Our party agents are at the Central Bank to take delivery of these sensitive materials. But today, I am showing you a result sheet that is supposed to be used on Saturday, that was used a week ago to collect results. So what is the guarantee that this particular material is not in the hands of our opponents?
The police have meanwhile warned all security details attached to political office holders against accompanying their principals to polling centers on April 11th. They are also barred from collation centers across the voting exercise. After the voting exercise, police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu said in a statement that only police personnel specifically assigned for election duties must be seen within and around the election-designated places. He added that Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba has ordered the arrest of any policeman who decides to escort politicians to polling units anywhere in the country. The police are, however, full of praises for other law enforcement agencies who contributed to making the March 28 elections relatively hitch-free. Ahead of April 11th governorship election, the All Progressives Congress APC says it will not tolerate any form of manipulation or harassment of its supporters in any part of the country. Speaking at an interactive session with journalists in Abuja, one of the party leaders, Ogbonaya Awonu, expressed dissatisfaction with several incidents that took place in the South and Southeast during the March 28 presidential elections. He maintained that the process was neither free nor fair in that part of the country.
Elections in Nigeria are truly free and fair. It was incredible. We're very, very unhappy with what happened in the Southeast and also the South of Nigeria during the last election. We had instances where card readers were made not to work, not that they cannot work. And that happened because those who wanted to manipulate the results or rig the elections knew that if card readers work, then it would be extremely difficult for them to do so.
It's CoreTV Prime Time News. Oba of Lagos clears air on alleged threat against Igbo residents in Lagos. Find out more after this timeout. To stay with us.
Lagosians, thank you for voting the All Progressives Congress APC and for our victory in the presidential election. But there's still more work to do. To continue to enjoy the ongoing regeneration that started almost 16 years ago in Lagos State, vote for Akinwumi Ambode as governor and APC candidates for the Lagos State House of Assembly. The APC government in Lagos State will continue to provide good roads and infrastructure, transportation, healthcare, education, housing, electricity, employment, markets, clean environment, security, and much more. Lagosians, let's consolidate on our collective achievement and keep Lagos walking. This is not the time to experiment. Akinwumi Ambode has over 27 years experience as a public administrator and is the man for the job. On Saturday, 11th April 2015, come out en masse and vote APC. Support continuity of excellence. Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State. Vote APC.
Welcome back. Now, if you've just joined us, a recap of our major headlines. PDP members lay siege at Ekiti State House of Assembly in protest against Governor Fayoshe's impeachment threat. Rivers All Progressives Congress members storm INEC office in Abuja as they demand the removal of state's resident electoral commissioner. Lagos monarch Oba Riowan Akiolu clears air of alleged threat to Igbos in Lagos. Don't forget that for more on CoreTV News, you can catch us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV News. The Oba of Lagos, Riowan Akiolu, has denied newspaper reports about his alleged threat to Igbos in Lagos to vote for All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Akinwumi Ambode. The Oba, in a statement signed on his behalf by Lateef Ajose, the Okpelua of Lagos, said the meeting he had with Ezendi Igbos in the whole of Lagos is just the normal one that is held regularly. He added that he also prayed for the continued peaceful coexistence and prosperity of Lagos. The monarch ordered that his alleged statement on the issue of people ending up in the lagoon is nothing but a storm in a teacup. He said that the statement is just a proverb on those working against the throne and its interest ending up in the lagoon, as in the tradition of Lagos. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the state is currently being owed the sum of 51 billion naira for roads supposed to be repaired by the federal government but have been taken up by the Lagos State government. He said this while addressing members of the Nigeria Union of Road Transport Workers at the Lagos State House.
Ikeja, which houses Lagos State Government Secretariat, hosted members of the Lagos chapter of Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, led by their chairman, Tajuddin Agbede. The union members say they have willingly come out, even while it rained, to show appreciation for a job well done by Babatunde Fashola, and to assure him of their support for APC governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode and other APC candidates in the forthcoming governorship and State House of Assembly elections. Fashola urged the members to ensure unity even after the elections.
Politics is a contact sport. Sometimes it's like football. After 90 minutes of hard tackling, we hug ourselves, we exchange jersey, we play again next Saturday. If it's possible, if Suarez is in your side, I can buy him to my side the following week. And he will score for me against your side.
Soliciting votes for the APC, he says every union member should put off sentiments and persuade their neighbors and friends to vote for APC on Saturday.
Go back home and go and tell everybody this is the time. This is not the time to get angry. This is not the time to pitch any ethnic tent. This is the time to come together. This is Lagos. This is the place all of you call home. This is the place where you come on night bus and within a year you are a millionaire. And nobody discriminates against you. So, this is the land of opportunity. Let us expand that opportunity.
Fashola also promised members of the union continued support and backing of the Lagos State government, especially if the APC and its candidates emerge winners at the April 11th polls, just as the party was victorious at the presidential polls 2 weeks ago. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Labour Party is set to challenge the results declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission for the National Assembly election in Oyo and Delta states. National Secretary of the party, Kayode Ajulo, disclosed this at the news conference in Abuja. He claims that party logo was not properly displayed on the ballot papers in the states, thereby denying thousands of party supporters the opportunity to elect their candidates. Ajulo also argued that the difficulties encountered by the Commission on the use of card readers has vindicated the position of the party.
For the National Assembly election, we raised the issue of PVC, and that really happened. And this is even the core of our election, our press conference this morning. Like for a play, there are a lot of irregularities. Like for what happened in Oyo State is something that which we, as far as we're concerned, election in Oyo State has to be upturned at the end of the day. We approached the court, particularly when our logo, it was not properly displayed. And because of this one has already, one way or the other, misled our teaming supporters to know who to vote for. It is out there. And why we're so particular about this, I remember this early this year, at our convention, we raised this issue because of that we sent the proper logo to INEC, and we believe that will be effected. That is that. And in other places like Boeing, Abakaliki, Cross River, you see where army, soldiers, police, they took over from the political party, trying to even defend the political party. These are the agencies of the government that are supposed to be impartial. You see multiple trumpeting here and there. Ad hoc staff, most of them, they are card-carrying members of a particular political party. I think these are the things that we catalog together. What we did today is to give Nigerians our interim report, and these are followed by the petition.
In Oyo State now, ahead of the governorship polls, opposition parties insist they are not jittery as election day fast approaches and would not leave any stone unturned in winning the seat of power from the ruling party. Though still dissatisfied with the outcome of the recently concluded presidential and National Assembly elections in the state, stalwarts of the Labour and Accord Party pledged to seek redress in court, at the same time work against the petition of history in the state. Omotayo Alo has more.
Though adjudged peaceful and credible by election observers, the conduct and result of the presidential and National Assembly elections in Oyo State may not seem to be entirely free and fair, as some political parties question the outcome of the poll. Aside from protesting against the outcome, stalwarts of Labour Party and Accord in the state say the last has not been heard from them until justice prevails as to discovering the true winners of the senatorial and National Assembly seats in the state.
After the election, we wrote a strong-worded petition listing some of these incidents, and we sent that particular petition to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Tahiru Jega, and we copied the resident electoral commissioner himself. And we are warning that this kind of thing should not be allowed to happen in the gubernatorial election. Oyo State people are wiser, and they know what they want. Any attempt by anybody or a group of persons to distort facts will be vehemently resisted.
In some area like Akwete, they finished accreditation, and also they discovered that they did not have ballot papers. So these are kind of things which, of course, APC did to manipulate the entire electoral process.
The same thing that happens to President Goodluck Jonathan is awaiting Mr. Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State. So it's going to be a revolution. People are just sick and tired of his policies and programs.
Debunking claims of a possible merger between some opposition political parties in a bid to stand a better chance at the poll. Accord and Labour Party insist they would not be a part to a coalition government, but would as well keep an open door to any candidate that wishes to step down his ambition and join their party.
For us in Labour Party, we are going to contest head-on with the ruling government, and we are going to defeat them by the grace of God, because it's just leaving, to complete his first term tenure, and Otumbala Okala is going to take over. So, in short, merger, we are not part of any merging. We are not merging with anybody. We are not even talking to anybody about that. We are not even thinking about it.
Shantola Doja is still our candidate. He's still contesting on the platform of Accord. He's not stepping down for anybody, and he's not merging with any political party.
Politicians describe the first election as a process to prepare better through voter education and more vigilance to arrive at a free, fair and credible election. They, however, called on the independent electoral body in the state to put its house in order and ensure that the highly contested governorship seat is conducted in a hitch-free process. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, has promised to complete all projects the incumbent governor, Rabiu Kwankwaso, is unable to finish. He made a pledge at an interactive media session at the Secretariat of the local chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Kano. Ganduje, who has been the deputy governor in the last 4 years, said he would focus attention on education, healthcare and security.
Projects are being completed once they are useful to the members of the public. So, having taken that into consideration, I now look at the areas that I will introduce new innovations, new initiatives, especially looking to the two major issues. First, critical infrastructure for Kano State, both metropolitan Kano and the rural areas, and also look at those services that will guarantee human development. I do not belong to that school of thought. Therefore, all the programs, especially the mega projects that we have started, that cannot be completed, it is my responsibility to see that such projects are being completed.
A Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed April 15th for further hearing in the trial of a former governor of Kogi State, Abubakar Adu, and a former Director General of the Directorate of Rural Development, Kogi State, Alpha Mustafa, are being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for offences bordering on criminal breach of trust and misappropriation of over 10 billion naira. Trial Judge Justice Ademola Adeniyi adjourned the case to enable counsel get more witnesses and file all necessary processes. When the matter came up for hearing, a prosecution witness, Jabaru Olatunji, told the court that several documents on the award of contracts to major contractors between 2000 and 2003 during Adu's tenure as governor were forged. It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break and return with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Just stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emotan of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Welcome back to CoreTV Primetime News. Now to business. In a bid to facilitate trade and e-commerce in the West African sub-region, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and member countries of ECOWAS have commenced plans to harmonize cyber laws in the region. According to them, ECOWAS countries are at different phases in implementing electronic transactions, and such transactions need to be safeguarded by creating an enabling legal environment to reap benefits from information and communications technologies. The agency, in a statement at the end of a workshop on cyber law harmonization, emphasized the need for policymakers, regulatory authorities, and other such players responsible to drive the sustainable development of the sector to adopt common principles and approaches to achieve this objective. The stakeholders identified the need for players across the region to ensure the harmonization of cyber law across member states, noting that there are implications for effective governance by cyber crimes knows no boundary. Despite heavy losses incurred by traders in Lagos and some recent major market fire outbreaks, many of the traders are still reluctant to insure their products and businesses. Investigations by the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, has indicated over 5 major markets in Lagos have experienced fire outbreak in the last 1 month, resulting in losses worth billions of naira. However, in separate interview with NAN in Lagos, many of the traders say they would not insure their businesses because they believe that insurance companies were not sincere. Mr. Lekon Oguntunde, the market leader of Oluwagbemi Market in Lagos Island, told NAN that most insurance companies delayed in payment and paying compensations over property insured whenever a tragedy occurred. And now to sports. The International Day of Sports for Peace and Development is marked on April 6th every year with a view to using sports to foster peace and development. In Kaduna, members of a non-governmental organization decided to spend the day with persons living with disabilities at the Rehabilitation Center. Amina Anebi has more in this report presented from our studios.
These are occupants of the Kaduna Rehabilitation Center. They are marking the International Day of Sports for Peace. With smile beaming on their faces, these physically challenged persons are enjoying every second of the moment out of isolation. They are also full of gratitude to the organizers of the event.
Whether you are having any challenge, like a physical challenge or not, but it's not telling us to be together. It's uniting us in time of reflection to understand what the region is talking about, such as there is no condemnation. In all of us, we are one.
They should go and pass it on to other people around us. Maybe there are some states, maybe they have not been to. They should take it to them.
The NGO, which decided to take the celebration to the Rehabilitation Center, explains the rationale for its decision.
By coming here today and stepping down the same game to them here, using the real blind people as part of the people that participated in the game, it's a great achievement.
That is one of our aims, to make them happy, to remind them that there are still people out there who love them and who remembers them.
Seeing the inmates basking in the euphoria of celebration, the organizers express hope that many more Nigerians would see the need to extend friendly gestures to less privileged persons.
Before we go further to other sports stories, let's quickly join Sabina Izoku for Stock Market Report. Over to you, Sabina.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izoku. Equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as the Nigerian all shares index depreciated by 2.20% to close at 34,941.79 basis points. The market capitalization decreased to close at 11.86 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 581.7 billion units of shares, valued at 8.31 billion naira, were exchanged in 7,587 deals. On the gainer side, Nestle topped the gainers chart closed at 918 naira, with 43 naira 40 kobo price difference, followed by GlaxoSmithKline, Total, Capstone, and Beggar. On the flip side, Seplat Oil topped the chart, trailed by 40 Oil, Nigerian Breweries, Guinness, and Moby Oil. Meanwhile, Zenith Bank topped the traders chart, trailed by United Bank for Africa, First Bank of Nigerian Holdings, Transcorp, and Fidelity Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here is the currency trade for today. I am Sabina Izoku.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you so much, Sabina, for that stock market report. There you have it. And we continue with other sports stories. Nigeria's senior women international team has received a massive boost with the arrival of France-based forward Desire Opranozie ahead of their final qualifying round second leg match of the 2015 All-Africa Games against Mali. It was great cheering news for the reigning African queens who have now secured the services of talented overseas-based pair of Azizat Oshoala and Opranozie. At the end, Avant the Guangam striker strolled into the national team camp on Monday night shortly before dinner. Last Friday evening, Liverpool ladies striker Oshoala joined her colleagues and gave coach Edwin Okon improved striking options against the Malians. Opranozie, top scorer at the 2014 African Women Championship, who only arrived on Monday night, participated in Tuesday's morning training session, which lasted for about 2 hours from 7 to 9 a.m. Okon ladies, who were held to a 1-1 draw in Bamako, will hope to silence their Malian counterpart at the National Stadium Abuja on April 11th. And we'll take another break and be back with stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back now to outside Nigeria. The battle for the Yemen port of Aden has made it a ghost city. The head of the ICRC in the city has said. Robert Goshen reveals that medical aid was urgently needed in the city where Shai Houthi rebels are fighting forces loyal to the government. Aid agencies say more than 540 people have been killed in recent fighting and more than 100,000 have been displaced. Aircraft from Saudi-led coalition are bombing the rebels in support of the international recognized government. President Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi fled to Saudi Arabia last month as the rebels pushed south from the capital, Sana'a. As the rebels have advanced on Aden, the port has also been shelled by Saudi forces from the sea. Fighting escalated in the city this week with reports of overflowing hospitals, hijacked ambulances and bodies left in the street. The ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross, says it is ready to send 2 aircraft to Yemen loaded with medical supplies, but has so far been unable to do so. Now, before we go, a recap of our major headlines. PDP members lay siege at the Ekiti State House of Assembly in protest against Governor Fayoshe's impeachment threat. We also told you that Rivers All Progressives Congress members storm a INEC office in Abuja as they demand the removal of state resident electoral commissioner. You also heard on CoreTV News that Lagos monarch Obariowa Akeolu clears the air over alleged threat to Igbos in Lagos. Thanks so much for staying on with us. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Geffed or Getta. Do have a lovely, lovely night rest. Good night.